Do you know the specific protocols and traditions surrounding the Navy's service dress uniforms? These iconic looks hold a long-standing place in naval history, and there are precise standards that must be followed to ensure the uniform is worn properly. Whether you're a current sailor, a military veteran, or simply interested in naval traditions, understanding the protocol around these dress uniforms is essential. We'll take a deep dive into the different components of the Navy's service dress whites and blues and explain the proper way to wear, maintain, and care for these timeless uniforms. Back to those days, around World War I, the Navy's service dress white uniform had been created. Over time, this uniform became familiar to everyone as one of the most stylish and traditional outfits for sailors worldwide. In the proper terminology, they tuck the jackets carefully inside, out to preserve the creases on the front and back. If you look at the trousers closely, you will also see some exact creases making a straight line down the sides of the leg. These creases are folded inwards in a neat way for storage to let out that crisp, tailored look the trousers have when worn. The trousers for the service dress whites are belt-looped and equipped with 2 front and 2 rear pockets featured in the men's piece to complete the image. Meanwhile, the women's version does not have any pockets or belt loop. Apart from the shirt and trousers, the dress wool uniform, which is commonly known as service dress whites, also has a few additional accessories. Pigeonholed is the famous Dixie cup cover, also known as the sailor's hat, which had a peculiar background, being used as a container for collected rainwater in warm tropical regions. Not to be left out is the cherished neckerchief. It is always worn under the collar and tied into a square knot fashion. Achieving a white shirt that is clean and spot-free is one of the main bane of this group of professionals. But they have a story to tell of how motivation leads to success. From a stain to even a wrinkle when you accidentally spill some coffee or because of just sitting down. Notice that breaking the uniform code is extremely uncomplicated. Sailors are in charge of maintaining a clean appearance, and when it comes to uniforms, this may mean either taking them to a dry cleaner or making sure they are carefully cleaned at home to keep a good overall impression. The job tends to be very challenging, but when you have to look sharp and well put together, accomplishing it should be a piece of cake. Although the clothing allowance for military service members provided each year by the government doesn't completely cover the cost of replacing uniforms normally, the system helps to defray these necessary expenses at least a little bit. Whites, which also include the service dress, are indeed the most folded that require replacement often, mainly because of the laundry challenges that are associated with keeping them immaculately clean all the time. Besides the Army's notable business dress blue uniform, let's also be sure to examine the Navy's. This is the top and the most recurrent design of uniform the Navy has, which dates as far as the 1800s. Like the service dress whites, we also need to tuck the service dress blues inside out. The procedure used is the same which is used in the dressing of service dress whites and which is done to protect the sharp creases on the shirt and pants. The 2 stars and white piping are on the collar, and the pants have a hidden zipper plus pocket on the buttocks, and besides that, the designer has used the leather belt. Standout feature of the service dress is positioned at the back of the trousers and is lacing. First of all, previously the trousers had laces running all the way around, but this was difficult since the laces often snapped, broke, and worse. Therefore, the Navy shifted to buttons in front and left the lacing in the back to occur as usual. A lot of the same painstaking steps are used to maintain the uniform service dress blues that are worn instead of the uniform service dress whites. Sailors had to be very cautious with regard to the uniform to avoid stains or creases on the uniform, and dry cleaning or at-home cleaning was a must for keeping the uniform clean and pressed otherwise. The blues do not show socks or stockings without wearing boots. However, this does not make them less indicative of the white uniform that needs invisible stains and dust. Whether a line of seam or any other imperfection, this piece will jump out as being incongruent with the dress and reflect negatively on its wearer. Similarly, the annual uniform allowance is a factor that is saving graces for the uniform maintenance and replacement costs over a period of time. However, the overall accountability still falls on each crewman to guarantee that their service dress blues will always be ready to parade at time of inspection or a formal event. The less formal Navy working uniform. Type 3rd is the substitute for the standard dress uniform in service dress and is composed of the basic work uniform worn by most sailors. These are the Camo Deo, or Kami uniforms, which are used by the most part of the fleet. According to the script, NWU Type 3rd is a 50-50 cotton nylon fleece that is more breathable and comfortable than the earlier Blueberry NWU Type Y. It has 4 buttons in the front, the number of which is 5 if the sailor is in battle dress mode. Pants have multiple pockets, like 2 cargo pockets and 2 folded pockets being held together by Velcro. The NWU Type 3rd cover is the unique form worn by sailors. All wearers have to maintain a sharp, pointed shape. Some of the customers will go with the flaps closed, while others will use cardboard or plastic inserts to keep the joints from folding into each other. The script makes mention of this piece of uniform wear and calls out coveralls worn by sailors on ships and submarines. These fire-retardant overalls are used to safeguard crew members in emergency events and can be used to make improvised rafts to save lives. As the second type of uniform, the Navy service uniform, which comprises khaki shirt and black trousers, is worn mostly by sailors in formal or administrative jobs in the office environment. The uniform is not the one that they pack as a part of a sea bag, but instead needs to be kept on a clothes hanger. While the preferences and opinions shared in the final part of the script are subjective, it's interesting to note the perspective of a greenside sailor who may not have worn the coveralls or other shipboard uniforms as frequently. The NWU Type 3rd seems to be the narrator's favorite, as it is described as the most comfortable. And what comes to mind when I think of the armed forces? The coveralls, on the other hand, are considered the least favorite, perhaps due to the one-piece design and less breathable material. So, the Navy's service dress uniforms, both the whites and the blues, hold a deep-rooted tradition and protocol that all sailors must adhere to. From the precise creases to the pristine appearance, maintaining these uniforms is a constant challenge that requires dedication and attention to detail. Whether you're a current or former sailor, or simply have an interest in military history and traditions, understanding the proper way to wear, care for, and respect these iconic uniforms is an important part of honoring the Navy's legacy. By following the protocols outlined in this video, sailors can ensure they look their absolute best in these timeless service dress uniforms. But the significance of these uniforms goes beyond just appearance. They represent the rich history and honorable traditions of the United States Navy. So the next time you see a sailor in their crisp service dress, whites or blues, remember the meticulous standards and deep-rooted meaning behind their uniform. Did you know that these service dress uniforms are more than just a set of clothes? They're a symbol of the Navy's proud legacy and the dedication of the sailors who wear them. Let me know if you have any other questions about the protocol and traditions surrounding these iconic naval outfits. See you soon in the next video. Bye.